Domestic workers in Cameroon is today spotlighted as issues relating to remuneration, hours of work, and other inhumane treatment show up on this International Day for Domestic Workers. Another international day, another disease, sickle cell anemia. While there is no clear-cut cure for most people with sickle cell, treatments to relieve pain and help prevent complications associated with the disease abound. The Customs Command Unit up in the three northern regions, the Kmer and forces of law and order, have taken a sustained fight against contraband into the country, and there are results galore. Saturday the 19th of June 2021. Good evening and welcome to Studio 5. I am Benen Bumagana. This is the 7:30 News.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Once again, good evening. Cameroon joins the world to observe the International Day of Domestic Workers. This time, the debate on the treatment of domestic workers keeps dragging as issues of remuneration, workload, and sometimes inhumane treatment keeps coming up. CRTV's Guy Roger Nana talked to some households in Yaoundé, and in the following report, recounts their stories.
Mama Marie happily shares the flavor of her cooking pot with us. She is cooking okok. It is a delicacy from the central region. I generally leave my house at about 9 a.m. and I reach here like at 9:30 a.m. I don't have closing hours because this is my family. I just feel at home here so I can work till I feel tired. The workload here is much, but the collaboration with my boss and the rest of the family is quite good. Mama Marie is like our mother. We have been with her ever since we were young. She takes really good care of us. Our next stop is at Biteng. Aurélie is receiving last-minute instructions from her boss before she travels.
I like his company because she takes care of my son very well. She always clean. My house is clean. I pay her 50,000 per month.
Organization, Aurélie says, is her secret. I share my workload carefully. There are days that are just for cooking and other days just for doing laundry. I need to organize myself so as to maximize. This profession in Cameroon, arguably, is mostly done by women. These women are not always appreciated enough. The job of house helps in Cameroon is very difficult. Some house helps are not well paid and they are maltreated by their bosses. This is not good because we are human too. House helps, however, remain an important member of several households in Cameroon.
And away from the day of dedicated to domestic workers, today is also the World Sickle Cell Day. In a public gathering in Yaoundé, dubbed Sickle Cell Convergence, officials charged with the follow-up of patients enjoying sickle cellers to respect all their medical appointments for the better control of their situation. Details now with Romeo Kenya.
300 sickle cell patients united and determined to combat stigmatization. To overcome the challenge, experts at the occasion advised sicklers must first of all accept their current health situations. In this process, parents are cautioned to properly follow up their kids.
Us sickle patients, we have to take care of us by drinking our water every day, taking our drugs, our folic acid every day. Not wearing dress that will make us have feeling pains, to stay away from things that will make us to be sick, to not drink things that are cold, to stay away from cold and to wear things that can cover us from cold.
The theme of the 13th World Sickle Cell Day, observed this June 19, is Shine the Light on Sickle Cell. Per statistics from the World Health Organization, over 5 million people in the world are sicklers, with close to 7% of them in Cameroon. The gathering, organized by Convergence Drépanocytose, received aid from the non-governmental organization Pierre Fabre Fondation, or humanitarian associations engaged in the fight against the spread of sickle cell disease.
Now, one of those suffering from sickle cell anemia in the littoral region is 54-year-old Fernand Tekwa, a logistics administrator in Douala. Married and a father of 3, Fernand says though it has not been an easy ride, his condition has not prevented him from seeing himself like any other human being. Cynthia Etim profiles Fernand Tekwa.
Life as a sickle cell patient has not been rosy for 54-year-old Fernand Tekwa from the West region. Married for 17 years now and father to 3 children, Fernand Tekwa says the beginning of his marriage was not an easy ride because of his sickle cell status.
At the beginning, all that, but after now, everyone accepts it. In the family, in my family, in her family.
Love and care from his family, he says, has been his driving force.
They are not looking at me like as they look you. You know, someone who is ill. That the society. My family accepted. My wife and my children knows that I'm a sickle cell patient, and then they always take care of me.
Working as logistics administrator in Bonanjo for 15 years now, Fernand Tekwa has not allowed his health condition to weigh him down.
To go to the farm, like to plant crops and also to watch football as everyone and listening to good music. While urging other sickle cell patients to respect good hygiene measures, Fernand Tekwa calls on couples to go for the electrophoresis test so as to know their genotypes before getting married.
A parliamentary task force to mobilize resources to step up the fight against malaria in Cameroon has been created. The initiative of a non-governmental organization, Impact Health Africa, has just been launched by the Minister of Public Health, Manauda Malashi. Beatrice Ngum reports on the launching ceremony.
According to statistics from the World Health Organization, about 7.3 million cases of malaria are on record each year, and 11,500 persons die of the disease annually. Cameroon is among the 11 countries with a high malaria infections prevalence in the world, but stakeholders are working hard to make the country malaria-free by 2035. NGOs like Impact Health for Africa have partnered with the National Program for the Fight Against Malaria to launch a task force of parliamentarians in the malaria fight.
There are volunteers in our villages who work for hours to look for cases of malaria where there's no health center. So communities completely rely on them in the villages. So we expect our parliamentarian to give them an official status, to also ensure that in the national budget there's a line for their financing and for their support.
They are clamoring for a synergy of action to roll back malaria.
We have the responsibility to do the campaign, to improve our fight and to have to secure our compatriots.
Experts and actors involved in the fight against malaria also launch a fundraiser. Funds raised will be invested in the fight against the disease.
Inhabitants of the Northwest region have been called upon to report any form of abuse on children to competent authorities. The Northwest Regional Delegate for Social Affairs, Madame Rebecca Nwate, was appealing to the people of the region during a sensitization workshop organized in Bamenda within the framework of the Day of the African Child. Mercy Kusi reports from Bamenda.
In this workshop, these men and women whose job description warrants that they protect and fight for the rights of children in the Northwest acknowledge they cannot be the only ones involved in this fight, hence the need for more awareness on the rights and obligations of children.
They need to see children as victims in whichever circumstance in which they find themselves, whether they have committed a crime or not, and not as criminals. We are encouraging members of the public that in case you see an abused child, anywhere, speak out. And speaking out will entail that you should report them to where they can be protected.
They all agree that for this mission to be accomplished, it is very important that the region's populace go back to the days when a child was considered everyone's responsibility.
Some children in the southwest region are currently receiving psychosocial support from child-friendly spaces created in communities within Buea. Championed by Plan International Cameroon, it will go a long way to provide vulnerable children with the care and attention they deserve. Yvonne Esamengowo was in one of the centers in our report.
About 9 months into the setting up of child-friendly spaces within Buea, they have gone a long way to support children and adolescents who, one way or the other, have been affected by the ongoing Anglophone crisis.
Children who have been destabilized by war, they have left their parents, they don't even know where their parents are. Some of them don't have access to their parents because of poor network, or maybe the parents are in the bush. Teenage pregnancy, and there is child exploitation.
The activities carried out in these child-friendly spaces in Dongo, Bonduma, Small Sopo and Buea Town play a great part in boosting the morale of the children while helping in their psychosocial development.
Like a part of me was missing, but with this space, it's like that part of me just came back and I feel fulfilled. I feel happy being with my friends. We organize games in the space, we make beats, we do cooking, and we carry out public sensitization on menstrual hygiene and GBV.
The hope of many is that existing structures should be strengthened with the collaboration of all in order to facilitate the protection and rehabilitation of vulnerable children and adolescents.
Back to Douala, the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Mununa Futso, has expressed satisfaction with the projects realized by youth who benefited from the 3-year Special Youth Plan in the Littoral region. At the end of his working visit to Douala, the minister also inaugurated the Multipurpose Youth Empowerment Center in Douala too. Cynthia Etim reports.
About 6,000 projects have been financed and set up since the putting in place of the 3-year Special Youth Plan. Among the beneficiaries are youths in the Littoral region who are making strides in their various projects in the areas of agriculture, industry, digital economy and innovation.
Our product is based on our local product like potato flour, plantain flour, sorghum flour. We want to use Cameroonian to eat what they produce and to produce what they consume.
Visiting the beneficiaries in Misole subdivision in the Sanaga Maritime, as well as others in the city of Douala, the minister was overwhelmed with what the youths have been able to establish with funds given them by government to enable them become autonomous.
The 3-year Special Youth Plan is a reality on the field, and I'm happy for those young people who believe in this important plan of the head of sales. That's the 3-year Special Youth Plan, and they are now autonomized. They are startups. They are already junior enterprises and evolving to medium-sized enterprises.
With regards to the biometric youth cards, that will see 50,000 young Cameroonians have easy access to different services at low cost, the Minister of Youth Affairs signed an agreement with a mobile communication company to facilitate access by youths to the latest generation of digital services. Within the 3-year Special Youth Plan, youths of Douala too can now boast of a multi-purpose youth empowerment center. The center that was inaugurated by Minister Mununa Futsu during his visit to Douala becomes the 8th in the Littoral region.
Candidates sitting the baccalaureate and BPC examinations have gone through both the written and practical phases of the exams and are now on holiday. For the balance sheet of the exams, here is Ewane Pole, who visited some schools in Yaoundé.
Students that were sitting the baccalaureate technique exams have rounded off, according to education officials.
For the back industrial, we had 219. We registered 3 absences. Then for the back tertiary science and technologies, we had 75 and registered 1 absent. For The running of the exams, it all went well. We didn't record any case of fraud. We neither had deficiency with the quality of the exams in terms of the question, the quality of the paper, and all of that went well. Together with the candidates, we're all aware and we all did what we could to give it both health sanctity and also exam conduct in terms of its value and morals.
Meanwhile, BPC candidates wrote their last subjects this Friday.
We're waiting 573 candidates. Up to now, there are just 4 of them who are absent. And as far as we are concerned, we have already done 11 subjects. One subject is going on, and it remains just one subject for the 4 days. The BPC will be closed at 3 p.m. this Friday.
All the chiefs of centers confirmed that the examinations went on hitch-free, as barrier measures against COVID-19 were also respected to the latter.
The first ever political consultation mechanism between Cameroon and Brazil has taken place virtually, with the Secretary General of the Ministry of External Relations, Umaru Chimun, at the head of Cameroon's delegation to the meeting. Charles Ebune reports.
The optical fiber project between Cameroon and Brazil, linking the cities of Limbe in Cameroon and Fortaleza in Brazil, is a key digital project through the Cameroon telecommunications company Camtel to ease relations between Cameroon and Brazil.
This was the first meeting of our political consultations mechanism, which we have inaugurated in online form.
Held virtually, both parties, Cameroonian and Brazilian delegations, discussed bilateral relations in all domains, especially agriculture, technology, and political issues.
We discussed our multilateral cooperation, we discussed the regional situation.
The Cameroonian delegation at the meeting held virtually was led by the Secretary General of the Ministry of External Relations, Umaru Chimun.
I am very confident that with this new mechanism, we will move faster, which will allow us to strengthen our cooperation.
Other participants at the virtually held political consultation mechanism between Cameroon and Brazil were the Brazilian ambassador to Cameroon, the Cameroonian ambassador to Brazil, and the chief negotiating officer of the Brazilian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
About 4.5 billion CFA francs will be distributed to close to 20,000 families in the South region within the framework of the Social Safety Net project. Ahead of the distribution phase, the national coordinator of the project, Micheline Joy, is supervising a 2-day workshop in Abolva to train 50 members of the non-governmental organizations on the implementation stage. Bernice Atabong tells us more from Abolva.
The 50 members of the non-governmental organization that are being trained in Abolova will be in charge of identifying and validating micro-projects and persons to benefit from the labor-intensive public works program known as TIMO. They will also have to ensure the putting in place of the projects and the payments of beneficiaries. TIMO is one of the programs of the Social Safety Net project, which seeks to create short-term employment for vulnerable persons who will be paid 78,000 CFA francs after 2 months. Inhabitants of the South region are already benefiting from other programs of the Social Safety Net project, as explained by its national coordinator.
We started the Social Safety Net project in the South with the cash transfer program. Inhabitants of 6 out of the 8 municipalities concerned have begun receiving payments. We will like local authorities to support the project.
Since its implementation, the Social Safety Net project has improved on the lives of inhabitants of the region. I received 60,000 CFA francs from the Social Safety Net project. With this money, I repaired my fridge and I have resumed my business activities. In the South region, some 3,000 households in the Sangmalima and the Eblova 1 municipalities will benefit from the 8th and 9th phase of the TIMO program, which is one of the tools the government is using to combat poverty in the country.
A stock of 9,000 liters of contraband petroleum products has been seized from an illegal depot at Kutaba in the Noon Division of the West Region. The products were seized Friday by the Regional Committee for the Fight Against Illicit Petroleum Products in an operation led by Governor Awa Fonka Augustine. Gu Henry has the details from Crtv West in Bafoussam.
The stock of over 9,000 liters of petroleum products of doubtful quality was discovered here in a building in Kutaba along the Bafoussam-Fumban route. The illicit depot is situated less than 5 meters from a kitchen in the Taindi market in Kutaba. It was discovered by members of the Regional Committee for the Fight Against Illicit Petroleum Products, headed by the Governor of the West Region.
We'll carry that product to SDP in Bafoussam. The products are going to be tested. If they are of good quality, they have to be sold, and if they are on bad quality, they have to be destroyed.
He called on the population to collaborate with the administration so as to put an end to the activity.
This activity is illegal and even very dangerous for their own health. You see people carrying this dangerous activity, selling, manipulating fuel in front of people who are cooking with fire, and you know what can happen.
In neighboring Magba, still in the Noon, 2 trucks transporting such fuel were intercepted by the forces of law and order 3 weeks ago.
And about 480 bags of sugar evaluated at about 12 million CFA francs illegally imported to Cameroon have been impounded in Magada in the far north region. This was the outcome of intelligence laid out by the commander of Alcomi 3 Zone 3, Jude Mofo, who now explains how the operation unfolded. Hear ye him.
Well, this sugar was coming from Durbey. They took the direction of Marwa. So we got them at the entrance of Marwa, precisely at Magada. To import sugar, you need an authorization from the Ministry of Trade. So he did not have this authorization. This sugar was put in bags of flour. They took bags of flour from Cameroon to Nigeria to put in the sugar. And since my intelligence service is at work, so they could not pass without our intelligence service noticing it. The goods are impounded, and now we have informed hierarchy for hierarchy to take decision.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Now let's get into the second counter and talk about our fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Gilbert Ongene Anya engages his guest, Dr. Eric Tanzi, on how active is the coronavirus in Cameroon today. They are live from the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. Hello, Gilbert.
Good evening, Benen Buma Ghana. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, where I'm with my guest of tonight, Dr. Eric Tanzi, who is a public health expert. Good evening, doctor.
Yeah, good evening, Gilbert.
Now, tell us, is the coronavirus still very active in Cameroon? If yes, what attitude should be adopted by the citizens?
Yes, Gilbert, I want to use the word coronavirus is still readily very active within our communities. We should not look at the various figures that we're noticing, we might have had a slight drop from what we used to have few months behind. But remember, a case in a community during an epidemic is very, very significant to us. What the population need to do is to continue respecting barrier measures, and not only limiting to barrier measures, but should go for diagnosis as well as the vaccination campaign that is there. And we have to appreciate the states that all of this is free of charge.
Now, Doctor, can you explain to us what are the indicators that show that this virus is still very active in Cameroon?
The indicators are very clear, Gilbert. To tell you just the truth, we still have more than 1,600 active cases within our treatment center. This is a clear indication that we still have people who are suffering from this. We still have individuals within the various health facilities under oxygen, you know. And again, the various diagnostic centers that we have dotted all over the country are still giving us results that people are getting contaminated within the communities and at our various ports of entry.
Well, Benen Buma Ghana, you got it all. That is the attitude Cameroonians have to adopt now, is vigilance, because the coronavirus is still very active within our community. Back to you, studio.
Thank you very much, Gilbert Ongene Anya. The Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, His Excellency Julio Murat, and Catholic faithful in the Garoua region have discussed the challenges and strengths of the Garoua Archdiocese. This was during his visit to the North region, where he preached peace and love to authorities of the different socio-economic domains. Tony Nanyongo reports.
It was a festive atmosphere at the Garoua International Airport, where top administrative officials of the region, Christians of the Archdiocese and other groups of people turned out to welcome the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, Julio Murat.
Really happy to be here in this part of our country, Cameroon, to know, to learn something new, and to see and to listen.
After the airport euphoria, it was straight to the business of the day. The prelate had a working session with administrative, municipal and judicial authorities, defense and security forces, as well as religious officials of the region. While answering questions on the role of the church in the development of different socio-economic domains, it was also occasion for the Apostolic Nuncio to talk about the importance of peace, unity and harmony in different communities.
If I came to visit Garoua, it's a special attention of the Holy See to know more, to meet the people, to tell them, of course, the message of peace. This is the mission also of an ambassador, nuncio, is to build and to work for peace.
The Apostolic Nuncio also had a meeting with the Christians of the Garoua Archdiocese, during which he had a global picture of the strength of the parishes. He preached love and faith in God, highlighting the need for the Christians to always pray, not only for their families, but for the church and people in their communities.
29 Cameroonians in the Open Young Division of the East region, that is, have received medals from the President of the Republic for their hard work to the nation. Those in a Bongbang subdivision received medals in the ceremony presided over by the Senior Divisional Officer of the Open Young Division, Joseph Bertrand Mache. The medals awards were in the categories of National Order of Merit and the Order of Agricultural Merit. Details with Constantine Baum.
This ceremony in Abombang is to reward these recipients for their hard work. It falls within the traditional May 20 award of medals that is responsible for stimulating individual energy and rewarding innovation and contributions to the development of Abombang and Cameroon in general.
This recognition comes as a surprise to us. I did not believe that farmers could be identified and recognized by the state for their hard work. This award encourages us to keep on working, bringing the necessary development to our subdivision, Abombang, and the East region.
We have created jobs for hundreds of young people. We thank the head of state for such a recognition.
The honor comes to set an example and so that all give their best, and these recipients represent the civic spirit of Cameroon in Abombang.
They deserve the recognition of the state because of their deed. And I want to call on all the others to continue to perform, to continue to be the patriot for their country, to be amongst those of the recipient of tomorrow.
The award ceremony will continue in other subdivisions of Upper Nyong Division in the days ahead, as a total of 29 Cameroonians in the Upper Nyong Division were awarded medals in recognition of their services to the nation.
An agreement based on promoting young talented footballers has been signed between a Brazilian non-governmental organization and a local football association in Cameroon. The partnership was endorsed today by the CEO of CUFA, Paulo Pan, and Pascal Atanga for Olympic Seats Football Training Center. Clarence Gay reports on the importance of the convention.
Promoting and encouraging young talents in Cameroon to become qualified and professional footballers was the essence of this partnership. Signing for his institution, the Chief Executive Officer of CUFA says his organization is engaged in seeing young people in Cameroon excel in the game of football.
Here, we launched the program of CUFA. We are launching CUFA in Cameroon. CUFA is a social organization recognized in international. We are in 70 countries in the world. And our first country in Africa, it's Cameroon. And today we are launching the program to do the citizenship and social inclusion with the kids. And of course, sport is the best tool to promote the citizenship and social inclusion together with education.
While appending for Olympic Seats Football Training Center, Pascal Atanga lauded the landmark agreement as he says this would help in grooming talented footballers in the country.
The convention is about taking care of children, taking care of youth. That's our main problem.
Cameroon and Brazil have a long-standing reputation in the history of football in the world.
Thank you very much for watching the 7:30 news. At 8:30, Atabadinoma is going to be here for the news in French. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
Parlant de village, c'est grâce au leader si j'y mets les pieds, la maison de mon père s'écroulait. Mon frère Roger qui est là-bas m'a dit, je peux m'en occuper si vous m'aidez. Avec les autres, on s'est unis, on envoyait de l'argent à Roger qui s'occupait de tout via son téléphone. C'est comme ça qu'on a réussi à retaper la maison de papa, pile poil avant la date du 10e anniversaire de sa mort. Et aujourd'hui, mes enfants connaissent la terre de leurs ancêtres.
Orange Money, leader du paiement mobile au Cameroun.
Orange. Our world today is full of uncertainty.
But then, do we really need to be worried? If the infrastructures that are built today could bring development to our regions, if the opening up of our business to the world could be expanded, if more avenues to bridge the gap between our cultures could be explored, what then if we had no cause to be worried? Our government, through the 2020-2030 National Development Strategy, is even more than in the past, showcasing its resolve to really take us a step further. For each one of us to know the greatness and unity of our country, Cameroon has to count on its young people. Young people with promising ideas, those willing to fulfill their aspirations and ready to serve. Distinguished citizens, dubbed SAGO, on the 18th to the 24th of July 2021 at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex. For further information, please contact the event agency Mon Communicateur, the government's agent.
Salon de l'action gouvernementale.